Welcome back to another episode of Talk 21. It's me, your host, Sam Genoa. I'm alongside my co-host.
And I'm Dave Vitti, and we're here talking about
Some
stuff that's come up in our industry that's kind of changed things around a bit. And I don't know. Some say not so good. I say I don't think it's going to affect us as much. But we're talking about TRESSA, and these are the new regulatory bodies that are governing our activities and the way we conduct our business. And it took effect in December 1st. And with that being said, we have a whole revamped forms and requirements that we need to fulfill when we're filing docs and so on and so forth. So we had an office meeting last week that was insightful. A lot of good talks. A lot of people were positive. Some people were not so happy about it, but I think it's something that's here and it's not going to go. And it's everything evolves, right?
So what do you want to hit on? Do you want to talk about multiple offers?
Well, it seems like it's like first I wanted just to say that like the whole thing with this with these forms and that it's like I feel like as much as some agents are getting upset about it or like saying it's added work, and I think it's just more making sure everybody's doing the right thing. And I feel like in our office we pride on ourselves on doing the right things and doing it right. So we didn't have all these forms or like more disclosures as they're asking us to do.
Why do you feel that this came out now opposed to 2 years ago, 3 years ago, next year?
So I think a big factor of these laws that were changed were to do with like multiple representation and also like when you're dealing with multiple offers. Because there's been a lot of confusion with multiple offers. I feel like some buyers might have felt that they were maybe mistreated or misguided, and maybe they were rushed into it. But I also have to touch on the fact that they've made these implementations to the seller's discretion whether they want to disclose what's on the offer. So my question to you, Dave, is what do you think about that? Because I know what I think about it. But
Well, I mean, you know what? When we're multiple representing, when it was fast and furious, things were happening quickly. And
let's just talk about offers, multiple offers. Forget multiple representation. Let's just talk about multiple offers for now.
yeah.
So what's your take on the new law that
Well,
at discretion of the seller, they're able to disclose the let's say the information, the meat and potatoes of the offer.
so basically doing multiple offers, on offer night, a lot of things could happen. And we always listen to our clients and we relate information to prospective buyers through their agents without disclosing the material facts of the offer. Well, now the biggest factor here is TRESSA is saying, like the rules and regulations are saying that through the discretion of our clients, the vendors, we can disclose parts of the offer, which we weren't doing that before. Again, the only thing you cannot disclose are the buyer's names. So that stays still concealed. But if a client wants to let everybody know, our vendors want everybody to know with the desired closing date, or how many offers, how many conditions there are, or what conditions, or what they'd rather not have as a condition, any parts of it we can disclose, right? Even the price, which is something we've never done before. So,
And now my question to you is how many people do you think are actually gonna, like, as a seller, would you be there when you've got 5 offers? Do you think as a seller you would want to disclose this information?
well, I mean, I can see where disclosing that information may be good, some parts of it, but I would never disclose a price. I mean, like I don't understand why we'd be disclosing the price. We're here as realtors negotiating, and with all our years of experience, we're the ones that are driving this, and we're the ones that are like directing this. So they need to leave it to us. We're the professionals, and we know how to negotiate. So if we start telling prices, and then at that point, it's like an auction house, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're representing our clients properly. The whole thing about multiple representation is to get the most you can, right? And they're relying on expertise with like valuations on properties. So if we think you're representing a buyer and you're telling your client, look, they're at this price. I don't think it's worth it. Like, and if you're the agent representing the buyer, you're giving them the advice. At the end, they can make the decision. But just to follow a price point and just to outbid it, then it's like it's not. We're not adding value to the transaction. We need to be there to give them some guidance.
it's
Right?
interesting.
And then this is one of the big questions asked in regards to what we're talking about today. Are we prohibited, we as in realtors, I guess, are we prohibited from going too far in discussing real estate with people who are neither self-represented or in a current rep agreement?
So basically, somebody that's working on their own.
Exactly.
Well, if there, I mean, look, we're listing properties. We have so many. We're doing social media. We're gonna get contact. People are gonna reach out to us. So we can't be afraid of this. We need to still pick up the phone. They may be represented by another agent. They may want to be self-represented. We don't know until we start conversing with them. So let's proceed, and then but be a little bit cautious. Like, once they ask you the questions, you can ask them if they're currently working with an agent, whether they want to be represented. But it doesn't have to be their first initial contact point of a conversation. You can just carry on our tasks like we normally do. At the end of the day, they're inquiring about a property. We can't push them away. We got to welcome the conversation. At the end of the day, we're trying to sell a property, and which is our client's biggest. Our responsibility to our clients is to sell the property. So we make sure we take the calls and we make sure we give them some knowledge. We're not giving them any advice. We're just giving them information. And with that, we decide and we proceed. How are we going to be? What kind of relationship are we going to have? And that's what the working with the realtor and this acknowledgement and the email notifications that we are able to send out, it sets the tone and it sets the expectations for everybody. And TRESSA is actually asking us to make sure we define everybody's role.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing. I mean, because
That's a good leeway right there, because the question I was just about to ask you is, will the RICO information guide replace working with a realtor form?
well, the working with a realtor form, there's a one pager. I would always include that into any agreements. But also there's the big 13-page working with a realtor, which is an email based one that you can automate. It automatically gets sent out to buyers, sellers, or self-represented, whoever you're transacting with. And if they're not signing it, there's an acknowledgement section, and all we have to do is make sure we're doing all we can to get these things done. At the end of the day, we still got to proceed. It's
So
still real estate.
nothing really changes.
No,
It's all
it's
stuff
just
that we've been doing. It's just more paperwork, it seems, right?
more paperwork and more communicating the roles and expectations. So now, when dealing with multiple representation, we know exactly what's done. And I think more of it's to document it all, with when you're representing a seller and they ask you to disclose things. We have forms now to dictate what they want us to sign, what they want us to disclose. So it's all documented. It's not like we just went ahead and said something without the will of our vendors.
And for the people who don't know, TRESSA stands for Trust in Real Estate Services Act, but this was also based in 2020. So now, I guess one of the main questions people have is, if it was addressed in 2020, why are people getting confused about this newest update?
So I think what the 2020 was the REBA 2020. Now that TRESSA has taken over that, correct? The REBA 2020 is now replaced by TRESSA. I'm pretty sure.
REBA's now from my understanding, REBA's gone, and now TRESSA's taking over.
Yeah.
I just think that as things evolve, they're making some rules and regulations that kind of govern our actions a bit more, and I think consumers want to know that
I think it's
we have some more stringent guidelines, and there's more rules around how we've been doing things, because things have been pretty crazy and people were just buying and selling, and people thought people weren't being maybe so ethical, or were they doing it right? They missed out on opportunities, and they're looking at somewhere to point the finger. And these governing bodies that regulate us, they're saying, oh, well, how can we make this better? How can we make this better for the consumers? The Competition Act, there's a whole bunch of things that they're trying to protect ultimately the consumers. And the consumers are the ones that are paying for our services, and they want to make sure we're doing it right. But good agents like us, we've been doing this all along. And I haven't had any issues doing transactions, because communication is key. And even if it wasn't documented in a new special form or a new special layout, we did our part. We always, whether it's through email communications, through text messages, we never left it to verbal. So, you explain it all, and then you document it. And when you document it, you're pretty clear, and there's nobody that's going to come back and say, "Oh, you didn't tell me so."
And so ultimately, this, for a good, honest realtor, this doesn't necessarily play a big key factor. Do you think that this has been primarily focused on people who are not doing things by the book?
100%. That's why.
It could
that's
be.
why it's been implemented, because too many people. Look, there's in our industry, how many realtors are?
I don't know.
70,000,
80,000, 90,000.
I'll be the fact checker here. It's 83,600.
Okay, so I think we lost like 7,000. But anyways, 83,600. There's a lot of great agents, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, not so great agents. So I think a lot of people during this pandemic in the last 5 years have been very fortunate to get clients, because the market was crazy and they were able to sustain. But let's see if they can sustain now when things have changed, right?
But if you want to give people benefit of the doubt, whether they're good or bad, things were moving so quickly. So agents that are not representing buyers and sellers often enough, like we are, and don't see things going as quick as they were, they probably weren't doing the right thing. So now, they may have been caught, may have not have been caught, but now there's a whole set of rules around these whole change, like these things that go on. So hopefully going forward, there's a bit more direction and a bit more guidance for everybody, buyers, sellers, and even agents, for that matter.
And obviously, we can talk about this for another hour because there's a lot of facets to it. But we have come to the end of this episode. And if they need to know more information about this, where can they find you, Dave?
Well, you know me. No, you don't know me. Okay, let's start that again. So again, in a nutshell, let's not overthink this one. It's just more information and more rules and more forms. So we're good. We get it. We're going to be doing the right things, and I'm making sure that the team and our office are using the right forms, and nothing to be worried about. It's business as usual, and just make sure you disclose and make sure you document as much as you can. Now that's what they're asking us. And if you want more information, you can find us on all the socials. Century 21 Fine Living, C21 Fine Living, C21 Fine Living Realty, and my co Sam. Where can we find you?
With Sam Genova Real Estate on Instagram
and all the socials.
We'll see them next
on the next one.
Yep.